Hey, yes, next question for you. When your half-sister talks trash about you during their wedding speech, do you think it's appropriate to call them an entitled bitch? Because that's what this OP is wondering. And when you get comments of people saying things like, not the a-hole, I would have grabbed the mic and said, sorry, that's my dad's affair talking. Anyway, you'd think OP's very valid for what they said. But what you're soon going to find out is this half-sister is more so the smoke. OP is the fire. So the original story starts as I, 31 female, got married last month. Me and my husband chose to have a child-free wedding. No kids under 13. The only exception to this was my sister-in-law's daughter, who turned 13 a week after the wedding. My half-sister Emma, 26, and me aren't close and have a complicated family life. My dad cheated on my mom with her mom. But we have a good enough relationship, and I invited her to the wedding. Emma has a 10-year-old daughter. She asked if she could bring her daughter, but I said, sorry, no. She tried to use my sister-in-law's daughter as an example and insisted a lot, but I kept saying no. Eventually, I thought she understood. So Emma came to the wedding by herself, and during the reception, we had an open speeches part where people could come up and say a few words. At the end, Emma said she wanted to say something, so we let her. Ooh yeah, trust the person you've been clashing with to make a speech in an area where alcohol's been apparent. That's gonna end well. It started off normal. She congratulated us on our wedding and all that, but then made some really passive-aggressive comments about her daughter not being invited, and that I'm apparently an elitist for having this type of wedding and care more about looks. We were shocked. My husband quickly went up to move everything along, but obviously everyone was listening. I confronted her there, but she was leaving and I didn't want to make a scene, so I brushed it off in front of everyone else. Later, me and Emma had a massive argument. I called her an entitled bitch who thinks the world revolved around her and her kid, and she's not special. She was pretty mad and upset and said she was just telling the truth to everyone. This made the rounds within friends and family, and people are torn. I've got some people saying I'm wrong for lashing out at Emma and not inviting her daughter. So, am I the a-hole? By the gods, it seems cut and dry. OP clearly established the rules. This was child-free, 13 and up only. If you give an exemption to one person, they're going to want exemptions for everyone else as well. You know, it's understandable. Emma's really in the wrong here to make such a scene about it all. As comments say, I'm horrified reading your whole post. Out of all the time she could tell you privately she chose your wedding day to do this, I really hope she didn't ruin your wedding. This is, to be honest, one of the things that I could never forgive or forget. But ooh, what's this little comment just beneath? You will need to read further down. OP is the a-hole. Special thanks to this person highlighting OP's comments, because it turns out, my friends, this child-free rule wasn't really enforced on anyone except for Emma. Oh man, I hope you're ready to hate the OP here. OP says, Emma adopted her daughter last year. Her bio mom is Emma's distant cousin or something. Both she and her bio dad were poor and spent all their money on drinks, and the bio dad died a few years ago. Bio mom wasn't fit for the child, and Emma took her in so she wouldn't have to go to a foster home. Wow, what an a-hole of Emma, to be there for a child, gosh. The adoption was official last year, about a month after my invites went out. The rule was originally under 10, but I thought it'd be best not to have Emma's kid there, given her background. And the fact Emma's not really her mom, and technically we don't know her or are related to her, so I thought to change the age rule. Now realizing the fact that she's contradicting herself, she quickly backflips. I was thinking about under 10 or under 13 from before anyway, so it wasn't a big change, plus it helped with our budgeting. I let people know that due to budget reasons, the rules was changed. What background does this kid have? What, you think that this 10-year-old's gonna be drinking alcohol? A few of our friends do have under 13 kids, but I said if they wanted, the kids could come, since I knew them, but they were all saying that they'd get a sitter, so it was fine. Again, just highlighting the fact that child-free rule was not at all enforced onto basically anyone being invited to the wedding. Emma kept asking to allow her kid, but I told her multiple times before the wedding, the rules changed. Then she chose to give that speech. So yes, surprising basically no one responding to this comment, OP completely sliced away half of the story's use context here so she'd come across as more of the victim herself. Like, oh my god. Yeah, let's not forget the massive cost savings a bride can achieve by excluding, let's see, one 10-year-old child from getting a plate of rubber chicken and soggy vegetables. Look, to be fair, knowing how much weddings cost, that rubber chicken and soggy vegetables was probably going to be like $50. It's just the old iconic duo of being on Am I the A-hole and hiding important context in the comments to sway the votes. Am I the a-hole for not donating to an orphanage in need of urgent repairs? Info, what other repairs needed? Well, I threw a petrol bomb through the window as a prank and the orphanage accidentally burned to the ground. Also, 6 orphans died in the fire. Well, you did throw a petrol bomb, but also the orphanage shouldn't have been there in the first place. No a-holes here. Moving on to another wedding-related shameful story. Look, this one's a bit contested. It's a story that began over a month ago about the tacky wedding from start to finish in 2 weeks. I think it's healthy to take this from multiple points of view. On one hand, they're trying to save money as best they can and they still want to get married and they still want people around to celebrate with them. But on the other hand, my god, at least make it accommodating for them. My husband and I are invited to a wedding in 2 weeks' time, and it is the most unorganized and weird thing ever. We're a couple of friends attending and had all a call today to have a what's the flip session as we're all equally confused. The wedding is in a week in Paris. We're all from France originally, but from different parts of France and all currently living and working abroad. So the location selection was a first odd choice, as Paris is renowned to be really expensive and definitely never a first choice from provincial people like us. But whatever. I think that word's actually provincial, but shh, never mind. We then never received official save the dates or invites, but we're just invited into a WhatsApp group to give us the details. Okay. We're told the wedding will be at the town hall on the Saturday morning at 9, and then to meet them for lunch on a boat they've rented at 1 p.m., but to find ourselves what to do with ourselves between the wedding and lunch. So basically, do whatever you want between, I guess, 10 and 12:30? Oh, but then we get told that the lunch is actually just snacks and a few drinks, buffet style, and that we're encouraged to bring drinks if we want something other than beers and soft drinks. The boat is then only rented until 8 p.m., and after that, everyone has to go home. This is very unheard of at a French wedding. A wedding without a party is not really one. Oh, but whatever. We've then planned with a few others to go to a restaurant together afterwards, as the newlyweds will spend their first married evening and night together, playing a passionate session of Stardew Valley on co-op. But this doesn't end there. We've then been told, actually only my husband was told on a separate WhatsApp group, that we were also required on the Sunday for the actual wedding ceremony. Ah, nice. No, but for real, the plan is to have 80 people joining them at a local park in Paris with no reservation or booking or anything. Everyone has to bring their own lunch and sandwiches, towels, and drinks for a picnic. Oh, and they also want us to come well-dressed, semi-formal, to take pictures together. Ruining my heels and dress at a picnic? No, thank you. That doesn't end here. My husband, who's a really good friend with the groom, has then been asked this week, yes, 2 weeks from the wedding, to be the flower boy. Kinda cringy, we're all in our mid-30s. And to also prep a speech with the other boys, and to come early to the ceremony to help set up. I mean, at this stage, I'm just absolutely flabbergasted. If it were a budget issue, I would 100% understand. However, the bride and groom are 2 of the most well-off people I know. They own multiple houses and never had any financial issues. So to me, this feels so incredibly tacky to ask people to fly over and spend a whole weekend with them in one of the most expensive cities in Europe, to not feed them or even provide any sort of entertainment. I'm also really considering the gift, as they're going back home right after. They've asked only cash gifts to not have to bother with physical gifts, and I'm honestly thinking of just giving the bare minimum, like €50 from the both of us, husband and I, as traditionally, the gift is supposed to pay for your dinner, but here, there's none. My husband and his friends group have tried to talk to him, and he just feels that we don't get their vision, and that they just want to do something unique. But at what cost? Bro, what is this vision? We're trying to achieve the poor but we choose to aesthetic. So we're regretting having accepted this invite now, but we'll update to let you all know how it's actually going once done and over. So yeah, quick to scratch the idea that this is people just trying to do their best to get by with a wonderful wedding of people together. Nope, these are just cheapskates. Look, to be fair, maybe this is how they're so wealthy, because they just cheap out on everything else. Now over to some small updates. Note, this was all the day before the wedding, which we have received this afternoon. The following news, still on the WhatsApp, by the way, which is a community channel, not a group, so we can't even reply. They asked in the group if anyone present for the Sunday picnic could bring a Bluetooth speaker with them. They changed 3 times the exact location of the picnic within the park. But great, we're now close to the public toilets. Yay! They gave 3 people's numbers in the group to contact if we had any questions or issues during the day. One of them was not even invited in the group, and we found out because we jokingly texted him that hopefully he has more answers than the bride and groom. He was also never asked to do this, and had no more clue than any of us what the hell is going on. His only thing is that he's from Paris, so maybe the bride and groom thought he could help with directions? Oh, if I was thrown into the deep end like that, the temptation to purposely give people the most inaccurate information would be overwhelming. We were told for tomorrow to be dressed semi-formal for the civil wedding. Fair enough. But to also bring either a change of clothes or accessories to match the theme of the afternoon, dare to be fun. Oh, so it is actually a costume theme. Oh, you know, these are wealthy people when they consider acting povo is considered, ooh, fun, ooh, we're daring. I dare you not to carry around your $30 water bottle, ooh. We were originally told there would be a shuttle of some kind between the town hall and the boat, as in complete opposite sides of Paris. We then were told to find our own way there by, and I quote, scooter, bike, or Uber. They sent a video of the boat as a teaser. I won't share it to still keep some kind of privacy. And honestly, it's just an old barge or houseboat that looks absolutely not cool in any way, shape, or form. And they actually confirmed they'll be bringing some snacks on Sunday for the first to arrive, and so the others were welcome to bring their own food and drinks and share if they wish. Oh boy. So that was just the day before the wedding. And so here is the update. Time to find out how that weekend went. TLDR moment, this wedding was just as expected. Cheap and tacky. Thank God we met there with a few friends we hadn't seen in a long time, so we were still able to spend a nice weekend by all staying together. But if we had been there on our own, we would definitely had not stayed over this long. Now onto the update. See below a recap of the 2 days. But before getting into details of the days, I just want to mention that all the different activities were hosted in completely different locations within the city. For those who don't know Paris, it's a big city and always with a lot of traffic. So going from one side to another can take over an hour. All had to be done in taxi or Uber. We probably spent over €150 just in transportation. So day 1. We were to join them to the town hall at 10 a.m. for a start of the wedding at 10:30. We arrived there at 9:45. No one there. Fine. Grabbed a coffee next door. At 10:15, still no sign of the bride and groom. At 10:30, they arrive. Start to mingle, say hi to everyone, but don't seem to be rushed in any way. Reminder, the wedding was meant to start at 10:30. Usually you'd arrive like 4 hours earlier if you're actually the bride and groom. We then also learned the wedding isn't starting until 11:30, but they wanted to make sure everyone was there on time. At 11:25, we're invited to enter the town hall, and the civil wedding starts. 11:45, we're done and outside. We do a few group pictures in front of the town hall, and then are told we'll be walking a bit further away, 10 to 15 minutes, to go take pictures in a park nearby. We arrived to the park. First problem, it had been peeing down rain for the past 3 days, rendering the whole park muddy as hell. All the ladies in heels and stilettos were struggling to stay upright. They then take pictures with all the groups, friends, and family. This lasts an hour in the sun with no shade, no drinks, not even water is provided. Everyone's sweating away. 1 p.m. We're told we can now all go to the official wedding location, to the boat. Again, originally we were all told there would be a shuttle organized, but this never happened. So we all tried to find taxis and Ubers to get there, as no public transportation would have been an easy option, i.e. having to take 3 different buses. So the taxi takes us 45 minutes to get to the boat, 60 quids. Great. 1:45 p.m. we arrived to the boat. somehow before the bride and groom. And turns out the boat is actually a houseboat on the river and someone's actual home that they just rent out for the day from time to time. There's no decoration or anything and a bunch of personal items all around, as this is someone's home, whom we'll call the captain for the rest of that story. So as the bride and groom are not there yet, some of the bride's family start to blow and attach balloons as well as some garlands. There are also no tables or chairs, just one couch in the living room. The captain is also staying there apparently, so we have that random 50-year-old dude hanging around. They basically just like roomlet some random apartment that someone in their mid-50s rents out to like uni students or something, and it just brought a whole wedding party. 2 p.m. The couple arrives on the boat, but things are still being set up. So everyone is waiting around, chatting to each other. Everyone is super thirsty and cannot wait to get a drink. So at 2:15, the groom says, "Everyone come get a drink!" And we see that the living room has now a bar set up with 3 bottles of champagne, 5 of Prosecco, 1 bottle of red wine, 1 of red, and 16 cans of beers. There was also 1 bottle of rum, a few bottles of Coke Zero, sparkling water, and fruit juice. To recap, we were 35 people, and this was meant to last us until 9 p.m. All right, let's quick maths here. Let's assume the champagne bottles have 8 standard drinks in each one. Prosecco, let's say 7 standard drinks in each one. White wine and red wine, let's say 6 standard drinks in each one. Put them together. Really averaging things out here. Also, 1 bottle of rum. I mean, 20 standard drinks? So just, I guess 20. I don't really need the brackets for that, but altogether, 91 standard drinks between 35 people. How many standard drinks is that between each person then? 2.5 drinks. That's all you get to have for the next 6 hours. Now, I don't encourage alcoholism, but even I can acknowledge that is nothing. So I can confirm that no one got drunk, and we ran out of drinks quite quickly in the afternoon. As for the food, they had pulled up a table and served some amuse-bouche, finger food, bites, things like that. These were really tasty and quite fancy, but definitely not enough for anyone to feel full. The afternoon kept going, still no chairs or tables. The older people, like parents of the bride and groom, were definitely getting tired. Then throughout the afternoon, they had organized a couple of games, although they did not organize them as they asked a friend of ours to do so. One of them was a quiz on the bride and groom, one was a sort of enigma or escape game, which was really the highlight of the day, but again, organized and led by a friend of ours. And then they had a friend of them playing guitar and singing for an hour. All the while, the captain was hanging around with everyone. Then came the time of the speeches from the family. This lasted for an hour. Again, all standing up, looking at everyone talking. At 6 p.m., they served sheet cakes. And then nothing really happened until 8 or 8:30 p.m. Now, being in OP's position, you might think, oh, well, we got no real decent food or drinks, but huzzah, it's almost over. We can go out and have a late night dinner with all our friends like we organized. As we were told we were going to be kicked out by 9 p.m., we had planned with our group of friends to leave by 8 or 8:30 so we could still have time to go to a restaurant. However, around 8 p.m., the groom said that he was trying to negotiate with the captain to allow us to stay on longer. They managed to do so until 11:30. What's worse, no food at all was served as dinner. They had said, we may order pizzas, but never happened. We got home at 12 in the midnight and had to Uber eat as we were starving. Also, as the captain hadn't planned to originally have us until then, some of his own friends showed up at around 10 p.m. and were just hanging around with us. It was weird. Also, between 9:30 to 11:30 p.m., the groom decided to play a mixed set of techno. He mixed himself live, but no one had nothing to drink, and we were all exhausted from standing up all day, so it was just awkward. Also, random add-on here, but they had asked people to bring a change of clothes for the day, as in semi-formal for the wedding, and then something fun and daring for the boat party. Only one couple did so, and both dressed up in Japanese kimono. The bride and all her family are Chinese! Oh man, that's just the first day. Oh, we're on to day 2. The 2 days before the wedding were filled with WhatsApp messages in different groups regarding the loads of last-minute changes and add-ons. Now, for example, the day before, the groom asked in one of the groups if people could bring a Bluetooth speaker for the ceremony. Or they sent a picture of themselves in front of 2 trees and said, "This is where we'll meet up." All guests, 80 people, including kids and dogs, were asked to show up at 12, and that the ceremony would start at 1 p.m. So, husband and I showed up at about 12:10 p.m. at the mentioned location, and no sign of the couple or guests. Texted friends to learn that some had shown up at 11:30 to see no one, and that the park was getting busy, so they decided to take the lead and secure an area. They still had to ask people to leave, as there was not one space under the tree shade that was free, really. Now, for those who don't remember, we were also asked to bring our own food and drinks, and were encouraged to share as well. Lol. It was also meant to be peeing down with rain with no plan B, but lucky for them, they had nice enough weather all weekend long. Not deserved, though. The couple arrived at 12:30. In the meantime, some guests helped putting up some decorations on the tree. The bride showed up in a summer dress, the groom in shorts, runners, and a Hawaiian shirt. They then start prepping the ceremony area with some balloons, while they tell people to start eating. There are no chairs. None. People are meant to sit on the ground to eat and stand during the ceremony. Friends, husband, and I sat together and shared our food and drinks while the prepping kept going on in the background. Then we're given the go-ahead to come and stand in a semicircle around the couple, seating in chairs while the rest of us stand. God damn, is this a wedding, or are they just testing your faith and, persistence to go along with the crowd? My husband was still asked to be the flower girl despite his complaints, and they added a flower crown on his head! He was not happy and pretty much was eye-rolling the whole time. Too bad for their nice pictures. One of our friends was the officiant and did a great job with what little info and guidance he was given, but then speeches started again. When organizing the ceremony, the officiant had reached out to friends and family of both sides to ask if they wanted to make a speech. Very little people said they would, so he asked my husband if he could speak as a favor. Turns out that 5 minutes before the ceremony, he is told that 8 more people will be speaking after all. This lasted an hour and a half, and honestly, after the speeches from the day before, there is only so much more that can be said about the couple. We get it. She's smart. He's fun. She loves yoga. He loves tech. And if I hear one more joke with,
I asked ChatGPT to write my speech. No, I'm joking.
I will kill someone. But also, standing an hour and a half to listen to boring speeches while bugs were dropping from the trees on us was just a nightmare. Kids were getting super frustrated as well, poor things. The officiant even made a joke about how he could see some people getting weak in the knees and so could sit down. But oh no, the chairs haven't arrived yet. The face of the couple was absolutely priceless. Love having them getting a bit of shade. Oh my god, and if you don't hate the couple yet, you're gonna hate the groom at least. So, then they did the exchange of the rings, and the groom had organized a little prank on his wife, which he thought would be fun. He had a friend of his bring the rings in a little pouch attached to a few helium-filled balloons. They then pretended to let go of the balloons, and they obviously flew away with the wind with the supposed rings. The bride and most people were kind of horrified, and he let that joke go for a good 5 minutes, leaving the bride panicking about their rings and him saying it's just material things and accidents happen. Then another friend came up and said that was a joke, here are the rings. Oh man, The fact he turned up in a Hawaiian shirt as well makes me really feel like this woman's being walked all over and too in love with him to notice how terrible of a partner he is. So the ceremony ended, and we all went back to our blankets to finish our sandwiches, and then they finally came around with the food they had promised. We each got 1 cherry, 1 apricot, and 1 piece of the sheet cake left over from the day before. You got day-old baked goods. Oh, man. Imagine flying all the way over to an official ceremony of sorts, and that's the quality you get. We then had a train to catch, so didn't stay much longer, but they apparently did another game in the afternoon, and a group pic with a drone, and that was it. From speaking to the family of both the bride and groom over the 2 days, we know that they were all pretty disappointed with the weekend as well. So that was it. Definitely won't be participating to their wedding fund there or sending a gift. I still don't understand what is wrong with them. And our friend group and us have all decided to take a break from the couple for at least a few months, as We're so mad by the lack of respect from this joke of a wedding. You know, as infuriating of an experience this could be, I do agree with this top comment. This is the type of event I'd love to attend, because I would be pulling out this story at every single social event for the next decade. Power move. Bring a folding chair to the park on day 2. I mean, even with the explanation at the start that's been highlighted here in this comment, yeah, they never had any financial issues, it does make you begin to question, as they do, that like, it sounds like everything about this exposes the fact they have a lot of financial issues. Something tells me that in the next few years, those multiple houses aren't going to be their own anymore. Oh, and some extra digging from someone else here. OP apparently mentions that they are both project managers and organize things for a living. So that's the really weird thing here. We're all just really confused by the whole thing. And it took them a year to plan this wedding. And they were proud of the result because they felt it was original and cool. Oh, are they just like against the capitalist influences of the wedding market and how overinflated it is, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, I kind of get that, but this is not a good alternative.